Hi guys, just want to do a quick video on external components and which stats you should be prioritizing. I think external components are one of the more forgotten items in the game that can make the difference between you being tanky or not, especially in the intercept battles. So all in all, you're going to want to have two sets of external components. You're going to want to have sort of a main set, which is purely around being tanky and surviving bosses, and then you're going to want to have another set which is more for your farming. So I'll put together a quick sheet to show which stats drop for which external component and which ones you're going to want to prioritize. So for the stats that you're going to want to prioritize, I'll put them in green. For the stats that are situational, I'll put in yellow, and then the ones in white I don't think are that important. They may be important for some character builds, but as of right now the ones in green are the most important, and then the yellows mostly are just for farming or for very particular builds. So for all four, the primary stats drop as either health, defense or shield, and you're always going to want to focus on a mixture of health and defense. Shields are kind of useless for the most part, other than Kyle maybe, but even on Kyle he can make use of health and defense. So for auxiliary power, for the secondary stats, you're going to want to focus on HP and fire resistance, and that's for your sort of tanking boss build. In terms of farming, you're going to want to have one that has Kuiper and mod drop. The primary stat then doesn't matter as much because you don't need to be as tanky for your farming, but if you can get health or defense, that'll probably make it slightly better. For the sensor, for the secondary stat, you're going to want to go for chill resistance. For the second stat, character XP or consumable drops would be best, but that it will be more for your farming set. In terms of these other stats, it really doesn't matter. As long as you've got chill resistance with health or defense primary, you can really have whatever. You don't need to be too picky with this one. For memory, you're going to want to have defense and electric resist for your tanky set, and then in terms of your farming set, you're going to want to have gold drop and firearm proficiency. For support processor, you're going to want to have toxic resist. The second stat doesn't matter too much. You can go for max shield, which will give you a little bit more tankiness. In terms of your farming build, you'll want to go equipment drop, and then the second stat also doesn't matter too much for your farming build. Now in terms of the primary stats, even though these all drop with health, defense and shield, the intercept battle drops that have sort of the specific names, so like bravery for example, venom for example, do have locked in primary stats. So I'll put two examples here so you can see. But the best way to know which stat you're going to get as a primary for these is if you go into the access info tab. So if you go into the access info tab, and then if you go to external components, you can see here that they're all shown. So volcanic can only come in defense primary, frozen in max shield and so on. So you can go for this tab and see which sets have which primaries. So yeah, hope that helps. Thanks.